Programmers of websites, computer software, and mobile applications know precisely what the word programming signifies. It is, in essence, a sequence of instructions that guides a device, predefining how it processes data, executes tasks, and performs a series of required operations to achieve a particular objective. It represents the second step in creating a website, a piece of software, or an application, following the initial stage during which a theoretical model is designed. This phase includes sketching the project's overall framework, outlining the basic structure, selecting the colors and primary keys, defining transitional screens, icons, tools, and toolbars, and establishing other components that shape the identity of the program. The stage of programming itself, however, consists of writing the code, testing and debugging, and refining the source code to fulfill a predetermined function with predictable outcomes, carried out with precision through a sequence of mathematical and logical operations. Since electronic devices lack independent thought, they execute tasks and achieve their purposes strictly according to the fixed steps established by the programmer, without the slightest capacity for creativity. The human mind, however, though designed for free thought and independent inquiry, can also be subjected to a form of programming, albeit by a method different from that of electronic minds, yet ultimately leading to the same result, executing predetermined steps set forth by the programmer. This process of mental programming is directed primarily toward the subconscious, which governs the conscious mind, human beliefs, tendencies, and decisions. Its foundation rests upon a single principle, the principle of repetition. For example, a child in primary school learns that the earth is a sphere. He sees it repeatedly, modeled by the teacher, displayed in illustrations filling the pages of geography books. He observes it on television programs, films, and series. He encounters it in newspapers, magazines, street advertisements on clothing, and even on the covers of school notebooks. Thus, he undergoes a process of programming through repetition, one that ingrains the concept of Earth's sphericity as an unquestionable, self-evident truth. The process of programming first requires the creation of a mold of directed thought, a framework of ideas, opinions, and beliefs fortified by what is labeled as scientific evidence and experiments given the same title, all designed to construct an acceptable model for explaining a particular phenomenon. Although imposing this mold on the first generation may be difficult, subsequent steps become progressively easier, carried out by cadres who transmit the model to later generations. From cradle to adulthood, it is absorbed until it becomes fixed, unquestionable, and self-evident, spreading like wildfire among humanity without resistance. For instance, we were taught a so-called scientific model describing the Earth's layers, from a crust to the core. We learned it repeatedly in childhood and later taught it to our children as though it were an established, indisputable truth. The programming process did not permit us to question the evidence for this model, or to ask how scientists could possibly know such things. Instead, our minds accepted the ingrained notion: they are scientists, therefore they know more than we do. They must have drilled down to the core, analyzed these layers, and tested them through direct observation, ultimately presenting a scientific model reinforced by thousands of illustrations. Yet the reality is that this model is not scientific fact, but rather scientific fiction, speculative conjecture based on geological research and measurements, but without direct observation. No one has ever drilled to the Earth's core to confirm it. In truth, no one knows with certainty the precise composition or structure of the planet's inner layers. The deepest hole ever drilled by humankind was the Kola Superdeep Borehole, a Soviet project aimed at creating the deepest man-made shaft on Earth. Launched in 1970, the project sought to reach a depth of 15 kilometers. By 1979, Soviet scientists had surpassed the previous record held by the Bertha Rogers well in the United States, which had reached 9,583 meters. By 1983, The borehole extended 12 kilometers. Yet over the following decade, despite all efforts, only an additional 262 centimeters were achieved, making 12 kilometers the final depth attained. Despite relentless attempts, they could not penetrate beyond 12 kilometers, and the project was ultimately abandoned in 1992, declared the deepest hole ever excavated by man. But what did the scientists discover at such depths? And why did the Kola borehole earn the name the Well of Hell? This endeavor was part of the feverish scientific race between the Soviet Union and the United States during the Cold War. The Soviets saw it as a way to offset their loss against American dominance in space, following the Apollo missions that allegedly succeeded in landing mankind on the moon for the first time. Though the Kola borehole was a scientific undertaking, it became entangled with a contemporary legend, shrouded in rumors oscillating between truth and myth. What is most striking, however, is that Soviet geologists uncovered perplexing anomalies in the Earth's geological traits. They discovered vast quantities of water flowing at those remote depths, findings that shattered the prevailing geological theory which claimed that Earth's layers grow less porous and more compact as one approaches the center. Direct observation revealed precisely the opposite. The deeper layers proved to be more porous, enabling water to move with ease. They also uncovered immense reserves of methane gas and alkane, a form of organic compound. But how could an organic substance exist at such profound depths, where science maintains no biological presence should be found? The significance of this discovery lies in its power to undermine the biogenic theory of petroleum's origin. For if organic compounds exist at depths far below the levels at which oil accumulates, then the very foundations of that theory come into question. Adding to the mystery, they found microscopic fossils. How then did plankton and plant or marine cells descend to such depths, unless subterranean waters are in some way connected with surface waters, or unless the entire scientific explanation of Earth's water cycle is itself questionable? On another front, in 1999, a modern legend began to circulate, claiming that somewhere within the Soviet Union there existed a well that pierced through to hell itself. Although the tale did not explicitly mention the Kola borehole, rumors inevitably bound the two together. The story alleged that a team of scientists drilled a borehole so deep it broke into a hollow cavity. When they lowered heat-resistant audio equipment, they reportedly captured the sounds of tormented screams from the damned. This tale was first published by the American tabloid Weekly World News, later picked up with the supposed audio recordings by the Trinity Broadcasting Network (TBN). It relied on the testimony of a Norwegian man who also claimed that a bat-like specter rose from the depths and flew into the sky. Other American newspapers embellished the story, asserting that miners perished after the devil himself emerged from the pit. Yet eventually, the recordings were proven fraudulent, leaving the tale of the Well of Hell suspended between myth and reality. Curiously, the story parallels one from the Arab world, the legend of the Barhout Well, or the Fugit Eclipse Chasm in eastern Yemen, long dubbed the Pit of Hell. It too is believed to be inhabited by jinn, around which countless stories and legends have been spun. Despite the fact that Soviet geologists drilled the deepest borehole in history and possessed direct observations and scientific data, their official reports admitted candidly, "We have realized and acknowledged how very little we truly know about the structure of the Earth." Their goal was to reach 15 kilometers, yet they never surpassed 12, despite every effort, before abandoning the project. What is peculiar is that the troposphere, the lowest atmospheric layer where we live, extends upward to the very same 12 kilometers. coincidence, or a hidden pattern in the mystery of the number 12. The year is divided into 12 months, the clock into 12 hours, the heavens into 12 constellations. The element that constitutes our bodies, carbon, of which 98% is the isotope carbon-12, bears that same number. The pantheon of the Greeks under Zeus numbered 12 gods. So too did the Romans under Jupiter. In India, Brahma, the creator, was said to have 12 assisting deities. The prophet Moses, peace be upon him, brought forth 12 springs for his people, who divided into 12 tribes. The disciples of Jesus numbered 12. Christianity has 12 great feasts. Sharia Islam venerates 12 imams. One of the strangest observations made during the Kola Superdeep Borehole project was that the Earth's interior is not composed of random, chaotic layers, but meticulously arranged strata, each distinctly separated by different types of rock. As drilling progressed, scientists encountered unforeseen discoveries, layers rich in immense quantities of rare minerals such as nickel and chromium, pointing to highly complex geological processes deep within the Earth. Seismic measurements further revealed that the speed of wave propagation varied dramatically from one layer to another, confirming that the Earth's interior was far more diverse and intricate than previously believed. It became clear that these layers were not homogeneous as once assumed, but that each bore unique geological characteristics, differing in density, mineral composition, and hardness. Traces of elements and gases trapped since remote epochs were also uncovered, an extraordinary revelation that opened vast questions regarding the Earth's ancient history and the conditions of its formation. Although the Kola borehole was conceived as a purely scientific endeavor to study Earth's internal structure, over time it became entangled with myths and conspiracy theories. Some voices claimed the project was deliberately halted after reaching dangerous secrets about the Earth's depths, truths deemed unfit for humankind to know. Others speculated that the borehole was linked not to geology, but to hidden experiments in metaphysical domains, cosmic energy, or even attempts at communication with other realms. Compounding these speculations were certain measurements that revealed temperatures far higher than predicted, forcing the project's cessation at 12 kilometers deep. This limitation compelled many scientists to reconsider conventional models of Earth's interior. For if humanity has penetrated no deeper than 12 kilometers, not even halfway through the crust, which itself represents less than 1% of the planet's volume. How reliable can remote sensing methods truly be, especially when the Kola borehole exposed their flaws? How, then, have we come to accept our current model of Earth's interior as unquestionable scientific truth? Why do we believe in it with the certainty of an axiom? This question presented a profound challenge to the scientific community, for most of our knowledge about Earth's depths does not come from direct drilling, but from studying seismic waves and geophysical measurements. Kola revealed that while these models are useful in offering broad approximations, they lack the precision needed for a true understanding of Earth's structure. The borehole demonstrated that many predictions regarding rock composition, temperature, and pressure underestimated the reality. This underscored how limited our knowledge remains, founded on provisional hypotheses that may be overturned with the emergence of new evidence. Thus, scientists were compelled to reevaluate their models and concede that, despite its advances, modern science does not hold a complete picture of Earth's depths, but only tentative approximations in constant need of revision. And so, once more we return to the question, how do we come to embrace this model, elevating it to the level of an untouchable truth? The answer lies in a process of mental conditioning that prevented such a question from ever arising in our minds. From early childhood, the idea was reinforced through school curricula and textbook illustrations, later perpetuated by the media as unquestionable fact. Over time, it became so deeply ingrained that entertaining alternative views seemed madness or ignorance. This mental programming extended beyond the information itself, shaping the very mode of thought. A psychological barrier was erected, discouraging individuals from challenging dogmas or seeking evidence to the contrary. Thus, information transformed into doctrine, immune to criticism, cemented in the collective consciousness as absolute truth. Such programming works through repetitive mechanisms that render implanted ideas seemingly self-evident. Repetition ensures that the same concepts are presented at every stage of education and media exposure, eventually solidifying into unshakable convictions. Then comes intimidation, associating doubt with ignorance, absurdity, or even betrayal of science, fostering fear of dissent. Alongside this stands the system of reward and punishment. The student who parrots accepted knowledge is praised and rewarded with grades, while the one who ventures beyond prescribed limits is penalized. In this way, a closed mental framework is constructed, not only reinforcing the idea itself but reshaping the very way of thinking through a complex program designed to support other, deeper notions, most notably the belief that we inhabit a spherical world. But the question remains, do we truly live upon a sphere?